Hello, welcome to IDDTalks here at ADU University. My name is Anastasia Lavrina, and now I am joined by a very distinguished guest, participant and panelist of the first Azerbaijan-UK policy dialogue, Malini Mehra, as CEO Globe Legislators. Warm welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So, how do you think, why is it important for legislators and civil society leaders to be part of Azerbaijan-UK policy dialogue?
So I think it's very important because it broadens the scope of the dialogue. So typically the dialogue is between government officials or ministers, and it's restricted to a particular part of society. Whereas when you bring in legislators, they're very often very close to their constituencies, so they bring in a different perspective. They're also responsible for ensuring that the commitments which are made by governments at international fora like COP get translated into laws, regulations, and policies. In terms of civil society engagement, it's critical because we need to build that dialogue with the public, and civil society organizations have those connections with their publics, with their communities. So it deepens and broadens the dialogue.
I remember yesterday, during the first day of discussion, you mentioned a very important point. You say that you're impressed by the position of women in Azerbaijan. So I would like to listen your opinion about this more in details, how it's impressed you and why this is important in the modern world.
So it's very important for me personally. So I come from this part of the world. So I'm Indian, originally from India. And for me, the mark of a country's progress has always been defined by the status of its women. And so wherever I am in the world, I look at what is the role and the status of the country's women and girls. It's the first thing that really struck me about coming to Azerbaijan because of the way in which it's geographically located. So in between Russia on the north and Iran on the south, the fact that you have women who are so prominent in public life, in political office, in commerce, in academia, and most importantly, visible on the streets. Yeah, so they're visible, they are accomplished, and they are free to wear what they wish and free to behave as they wish. And this too in a country which is an Islamic nation, which is a modern nation, a secular nation. For me, that was incredibly impressive. And the second aspect of it was about safety. Wherever I go in the world as a woman, I want to feel secure. And I felt very safe and very secure in Baku. And as I tell people, my yardstick for the female friendliness of a society is how safe it is and whether I would want my daughters to travel there. So Baku is a country, is a city, and Azerbaijan is a country that I would safely allow my daughters to travel to by themselves. So those are the key features. The other element of it is Azerbaijan is the Muslim nation which is the highest degree of female labor force participation, 60%. It's even higher than many European countries. It's certainly higher than India, where it's not even 33%. So that gives you an indicator of how society is changing here for the better.
Yeah, indeed, that's very interesting. And another very important point raised during this conference, during this policy dialogue, I'm not surprised, but still, it's that Azerbaijan is no longer only the country dealing with oil and gas, but also green transition. And after COP29, Azerbaijan has become even more deeply involved in the climate change issues. How do you see the role of Azerbaijan in global change, global climate change and sustainability discussions?
So I think it's very important for two reasons. First of all, it was a very intelligent and far-sighted decision for the country to host COP29. COP29 was instrumental for the country because, of course, it allowed Azerbaijan to create a platform for itself to manage its ordered transition economically. For the rest of the world, it also allowed us to see how a country which has been fossil fuel dependent for so long undergoes that economic energy transition. So it's been beneficial from both sides. And I think we are now on a journey together. So we are seeing firsthand and in real time the challenges of diversifying your economy, the need for investment, the need for dialogue which creates confidence and investment. And so there, I think Azerbaijan is playing a really important role, especially to showcase the change that's taking place in a part of the world that the majority of decision makers, diplomats have not really been paying attention to. So I think a lot of very interesting, rapid change is happening in this part of the world, and we all need to pay greater attention.
The success of COP conference usually being evaluated a year after. So COP30 will be taking place in Brazil very soon. So a year after, how would you evaluate the role Azerbaijan played in all of these climate-related issues agenda, hosting COP29 and creating the opportunities for dialogue at the highest level?
So it has to be said that this year has been very challenging for climate diplomacy. First of all, we had the Trump administration, which exited the Paris Agreement. We've also had a whole host of other issues with trade issues around tariffs that have distracted leaders. So climate change, in terms of its political importance, doesn't feature in the same way amongst the top issues that it did last year. But on the other hand, we see that the real economy is shifting still. It's very dynamic. The clean economy transition and revolution is happening. I think on a very practical, logistical point of view, COP29 set a new standard for organizational excellence. This is a country which managed to host COP with more than 70,000 people registered in record time, in 10 months. The Brazilian COP presidency is, of course, facing a lot of issues because it has made a decision to host a COP in a remote part of the country, difficult to access. And so they have been struggling with making sure that all the infrastructure is in place. But at the same time, the diplomacy has continued. And I think that, this really nice pairing between COP29 and COP30 presidencies in supporting each other with driving the climate action agenda has been, it's been great to see. And we are all working towards a successful COP in Berlin in a couple of months' time.
Indeed. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being a very active participant, supporting the women's rights and women's voices promotions on the global stage. We wish you good luck and hope to see you in Baku very soon.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.